What I'm about to show you is in itself quite trivial. No one got hurt, nothing got broken, and very little time was wasted. I'm showing it to you nonetheless because it's symptomatic of a systemic failing at the moment for traffic managers to take cyclists into account when creating detours on obvious cycling routes. In this case, we've got the closure of a short section of principal shared path at Claremont train station. There are only two types of traffic on this path: pedestrian traffic, which I've marked in blue, mainly going in and out of the train station via an overbridge, and then we've got bike traffic, which I've marked in red, going between the city and Fremantle. Now, for some reason, whoever planned and approved the traffic management plan for this close down completely forgot to take cyclists into account, and that's on one of the busiest cycling paths in WA. Even worse, it's pretty clear that some traffic managers are either ignorant of updates to the Austroads Guides to temporary traffic management that include cyclists, or they're deliberately ignoring the statement in the guides that cyclists must be addressed on every job. My understanding that these plans are supposed to be drafted by someone who is qualified in traffic management and then reviewed and signed off by someone else who is also qualified in traffic management. If that's the case, a plan that didn't meet the Austroads Guides managed to slip past two qualified and presumably experienced people. How and why is this happening? And how do we ensure that future traffic management plans meet the basic conditions set down in the Austroads Guides?
Well, g'day people, I'm climbing the steps at Cottesloe Station to show you a detour that was in place here a week or so ago that was a Clayton's detour. Right, up ahead of us we've got the principal shared path, and the reason this detour was put in place is down there's access gates to get onto the railway line, and they were doing some work over there, so they had to shut down the path. Now, there's a really easy detour around this particular section. You can see here you've got this gallery and cafe. Now, right there is well, that's actually not a path. Sorry, wrong spot. So down there where that blue thing is, where those cyclists are now, there's a path that runs around the edge of those trees. You can actually see it again over there on the other side of that parked car. It goes around the back of this gallery and it pops out, whoops, right about there on the other side of the cafe. Now, you'd think the sensible thing to do for this shutdown would be to put a sign about there telling cyclists to go around the back of this thing, along that path over there, around the back of that tree, and then pop out down there at that disabled parking. In fact, where that family with the kids is coming out right now. Is that what they did? No. What they did is they allowed cyclists to ride along here until they got to somewhere around here, and there was a traffic controller with a stop sign who said, "Very sorry everybody, you have to turn around, you have to ride back there, go down that path and around there and pop out at the other end." And I can't remember exactly what they had from this direction, but it was kind of something fairly similar. Now, the lady with the sign was quite sensible. She worked out it was a problem, and she had rung her boss to try and get the signage changed so that a sign could be put up down there to direct cyclists around the detour. Problem is, of course, you need approvals to do that kind of thing, because if you change the signage from the plan and there's a crash, you're probably liable for it, so you don't mess with the plan. Thing is, it was a weekend, so was she able to get hold of her boss to get approval to change the signage? I have no idea. Was her boss actually an approved person who's accredited to change a traffic management plan? Well, I have no idea. Maybe her boss was just a supervisor, and then on a Saturday or a Sunday they had to contact someone who could then authorise the changes of the plan. Could they authorise that change over the phone, or would it have to be done in writing on the plan and signed off? Who knows? So if any of that stuff had been thought about in advance, we could have actually had a proper detour across here rather than a complete mess.
I said at the beginning that this is a systemic problem. I'll be publishing another video soon that shows similar problems with the closure of the PSP in Subiaco on the same weekend. The people who should be the most annoyed about this are the main road staff who invested a lot of time in working with their interstate colleagues to update the Austroads Guides to include a lot of cyclist-specific information, only to see it all being ignored by practitioners. That would be really quite disheartening and frustrating to see all that good work going to waste.